Abominable Snowman that supposedly roams the icy heights of the Himalayas, a creature that has captivated explorers, scientists, and adventurers for decades. Well, here's the thing. What if I told you that the mystery of the Yeti has, in some ways, already been solved? Yep, that's right. In today's video, we're going to explore the Yeti's origins, the evidence that's been gathered over the years, and how modern science might have finally cracked the case. Are you ready? Let's jump right in. The story of the Yeti goes way back in history. The earliest references to the creature come from the Sherpas, an indigenous group from the mountainous regions of Nepal and Tibet. In their language, Yeti roughly translates to the man-bear or wild man of the snow. Stories of strange ape-like creatures roaming the mountains have been passed down for generations. Now, the thing is, this wasn't just a local myth. Over the centuries, the Yeti became part of global popular culture. In the 1920s, British mountaineers started reporting sightings of a strange creature while trekking through the Himalayas. One of the earliest photos of supposed Yeti footprints was taken by a British officer named Lieutenant Colonel Charles Howard Berry during the 1921 Mount Everest expedition. This sparked widespread interest, and the Yeti, or Abominable Snowman, as it was also called, was officially thrust into the spotlight. Over the years, countless expeditions were launched in search of the Yeti, but it remained just out of reach. People claimed to have seen it, heard it, or even found footprints, but the evidence was always circumstantial at best. And so, the Yeti became an enduring legend, a creature that might exist or might just be the product of imagination and mystery. The truth is, for decades, the Yeti's existence has been surrounded by what we could call mystifying evidence. Some of the most famous pieces of Yeti proof include footprints. There have been numerous reports of giant, human-like footprints found in the snow, but here's the catch. They were always blurry and often just too vague to be classified as definitive evidence. Still, they sparked curiosity. Hair samples. Explorers have also reported finding hair that they believed belonged to the Yeti. Some were sent to labs for analysis, but they were often identified as being from animals like bears, goats, or other Himalayan creatures. Fossils and bones. Of course, no physical remains of a Yeti have ever been found. There are stories of large bones or skulls found in remote areas of the Himalayas, but none of them were conclusively linked to the Yeti. So, with all this evidence, you might be wondering, why didn't we just find the Yeti by now? Well, that's because many of these so-called Yeti sightings have turned out to be misidentified animals. The Yeti footprints? Some scientists suggest they could have belonged to Himalayan bears or snow leopards. The hair samples? They could easily have come from a variety of animals, like the Himalayan brown bear or even Tibetan mastiffs, large, fluffy dogs native to the region. Take the famous Yeti footprint photos from the 1950s, for example. One of the most iconic images is a photo of large, human-like tracks near the foot of Mount Everest. For years, these tracks were considered strong evidence, but in the 1970s, mountaineer Eric Shipton admitted he wasn't sure they were from a Yeti at all. They could have simply been made by an Indo-Tibetan brown bear, a bear that lives in the region and has large, human-like tracks. Alright, here's where things get interesting. Fast forward to today. While many expeditions still rely on old-school methods of looking for footprints in hair, science has come a long way since the 20th century. Enter modern genetics. In 2017, scientists from the University of Oxford conducted a groundbreaking study. They gathered hair and bone samples from different expeditions and analyzed them using DNA sequencing technology. And guess what they found? The results were a game changer. These samples, which were thought to possibly belonged to a Yeti, were actually linked to bears. Specifically, they found that much of the Yeti hair and bones had a strong connection to Himalayan brown bears and Tibetan brown bears. What's even more fascinating is that in some cases, the DNA from the samples pointed to an ancient lineage of bears, possibly extinct today. This suggests that what many people have been seeing in the Himalayas for decades might actually be a rare, misidentified species of bear, not some mythological creature. Now, don't get me wrong, this doesn't mean that there's no mystery left. It's just that modern science has shed light on what might have been causing the Yeti myth all these years. The idea of a large, ape-like creature could have stemmed from early reports of encounters with the Himalayan brown bear, a species that can stand upright when threatened and has a bulky, human-like frame. So why does the Yeti myth persist, even in light of these discoveries? Well, I think the answer lies in the power of storytelling and human psychology. The Himalayas are vast, harsh, and incredibly difficult to explore, so it makes sense that people would dream up something bigger than life itself to explain the unknown. Humans love a good mystery, and the idea of an unexplored creature lurking in the mountains fits perfectly into that narrative. Plus, think about it, mystical creatures like Bigfoot in North America or the Loch Ness Monster in Scotland thrive on the same principle. The idea of a hidden world just beyond our reach is a powerful motivator, and the Yeti plays into that desire for discovery. So is the mystery of the Yeti officially solved? In a sense, yes. The evidence seems to suggest that the Yeti isn't some ancient mythical creature, but rather a misidentified bear, possibly from a rare, unrecognized subspecies. Modern science, from DNA analysis to genetic testing, has provided us with a clearer picture of what the Yeti may actually be. However, that doesn't necessarily end the mystery. There's still plenty of room for exploration. Who knows? Maybe we'll find new species in the Himalayas that defy expectations, or maybe a real Yeti in some form is still out there waiting to be discovered. What do you think? Is the Yeti a legend of the past, or is there still more to uncover in the snow-capped mountains of Nepal and Tibet? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your take on this fascinating mystery.